All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99. I am back with another video. All right, y'all, looks like things are coming together. Seems like things are really coming together with some of the matches that I've been wanting this year, because y'all know there's been about 3 or 4 matches that I really want to see, and 2 out of 3 of them were already signed, sealed, and ready to go. Y'all know Weili Lemos, Suarez versus Jandiroba, and now this fight, Manon Fiorot versus Erin Blanchfield. And it seems like they're trying to set it up the exact way that I said would be the best way for Manon to come back and Erin Blanchfield to come back. So that's good news. You know, I'm glad these fighters are really trying to make the good matches. And I'm glad that the matchmakers are sometimes listening out here to the media. You know, some of y'all don't want to believe it, but they're listening to the underground media because we are the true fans and the hardcore supporters and the real analysts out here on YouTube. You know what I mean? You don't have that many WMMA channels out here that are trying to call for fights. There's only a few select of us out here, right? So they get their sources sometimes from us, or they get their ideas from us, right? But it's good to know that a fighter like Manon is trying to come back against the best competition possible before going for that belt. As y'all know, like I said, I want to see this fight. I talked about it before. It makes a lot of sense. And according to this source, well, 2 sources, WMMArankings.com is reporting it, but the original source from Manny Mayer, as y'all know, he's on Instagram, and he's like an MMA journalist, and he does media for MMA. You know, he covers the women and the men. You know, he shows them all love. You know, shout out to Manny Mayer, because I think he follows me as well. And, you know, I've talked to him before, you know, and, you know, checked into some of his posts. And, yeah, his sources are usually pretty reliable. They really are reliable, you know. So, yeah, you can definitely bet that this is probably going to be some real news. But right now, as of now, it's Manon Fiorot that's seeking this fight. According to this article, it says Manon Fiorot seeks a 5-round battle against Erin Blanchfield at UFC Paris, and then she's eyeing a title shot. So it says, in an exciting development for women's MMA fans, Manon's team has officially approached the UFC with a request for a 5-round showdown against Erin Blanchfield at UFC Paris, set to take place on September 2nd. This potential clash between 2 talented fighters could potentially be a main event if booked. All right, now that's everything that I had said a little while back, right? Like back in March or April, you know, when everybody was asking when's Manon coming back, and I said she was probably going to come back in, like, you know, July, August, or September. And if it was going to be around that time, I said, hey, why not just match her up with Erin Blanchfield in Paris? So that way it could be a main event and both fighters could get their 5-round experience, which is what they wanted, right? And it could be guaranteed a title eliminator. And that way Manon could pop up in Paris this time, because unfortunately last time she couldn't do the Paris card because she had to pull out. Caitlin Chikagian had to move the date back, and then Jessica Andrade had to pull out, actually. Yeah, they actually had to pull out, and she had to move her date with Chikagian back, so she couldn't do the UFC Paris card. So if they can do it this year, a fight against Erin Blanchfield would be fire. That would be fire right there. That would be a guaranteed title eliminator, because, yeah, that's a 5-round fight, and that's a good main event for both fighters. This would be Erin Blanchfield's second main event. Her first was against Andrade. Yeah, this would be Manon, her very first main event. And what better way to do it to bring in a homecoming and a comeback fight, you know, because if she does this in September, this will be her first fight in, you know, about a year, right? So, yeah, that sounds like good news. But it also says the news was first shared by Manny Mayer, a reliable source in the MMA community, who revealed that Manon's camp expressed their desire for a 5-round contest against Erin Blanchfield. So, yeah, they're looking for a good fight. You know, they're looking for a real fight. You know, they're not trying to take, you know, an unranked fighter or somebody all the way down at the bottom of the rankings. You know, they're trying to jump right back in there and go for the belt, right? So it says, with an impressive record of 10-1, including a perfect 5-0 record in the UFC, Manon has established herself as a force to be reckoned with the women's flyweight division. Her recent victory over Caitlin Chikagian solidified her as the number 2 contender in the UFC's official rankings. All right. They said she's number 2 now, but let's take a look here real quick. Let's take a look at the rankings, y'all, because I believe she was number 1 and Erin was number 2, and Tyler actually fell down to number 3. But let's take a look here real quick, because either way, they are the top contenders in the division. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, she is number 2, because Valentina's going to be number 1, right? Yeah, Valentina's actually going to be number 1. So, yeah, Manon is number 2. Number 3 is Erin Blanchfield, and number 4 is Tyler Santos now. So, yeah, Tyler's actually falling down, right? All right, so equally formidable is Fiorot's potential opponent, Erin Blanchfield, who who boasts a professional record of 11-1 with an unblemished record of 5-0 in the UFC. All right. So yeah, both of these fighters, they're 5-0 in the UFC. They got some good wins. They're probably the most talented ones, aside from fighters like Grasso and Tyler Santos. They're like the top 4-5 fighters in the division. This is going to be a good fight. Manon's beating fighters like Jennifer Maia, Caitlin Chikagan, Mayra Buena Silva. Then you have Erin Blanchfield finishing fighters like Molly McCann, Jessica Andrade, in just 2 rounds. So when you have a fighter like this with that hunger and just that cold-blooded attitude, and you have a fighter like Manon who's boasting and feels like she's the better fighter and she wants to go for the belt, this is just a really all-around good fight. I think it's going to be more like a striker versus grappler, but with what these girls are doing behind the scenes, it might just be well-rounded fighter versus well-rounded fighter. I mean, Manon, her MO is mostly striking. She is more of a striking fighter, but I think she has an underrated ground game and some very good clinch attacks. She's very strong. Everybody knows who the best jiu-jitsu practitioner is in the flyweight division, and that is Erin Blanchfield right now. And we all know that if she gets the fight to the ground, she could definitely pull off the upset here. So looking at Erin, she's been putting herself together, putting her tools together. Her striking's getting better. Kickboxing's looking good. She's physically strong. She's that type of fighter that people underrate because, the way she physically looks. They think she's a little bit soft sometimes, but no, like Erin is strong. Erin is gritty. The way she throws her strikes, they may not be like flashy like Rose, but they're thudding and they're hard and they get the job done, and they're throwing in good form. You know what I mean? They're strong punches. So this is a good fight. I hope this fight can happen since Manon is reaching out to the UFC. She wants to jump right back in off an injury, off the torn ligament. I've been watching her on IG. She's been training now. She's been hardcore getting back into it. So I think that it's pretty healed up now. She's been doing therapy, and she's just been training, doing all her mixed martial arts training, the boxing and wrestling and all of that. So I think it's going to be good to go. Like I said, for Erin, this is a good fight for her because this will really make a statement if she can pull off the victory. Because some people are still questioning the Jessica Andrade fight because it was a short notice fight. But to me, like I said, everybody was picking against Blanchfield and they felt she had no chance. But now that she was able to pull off the win, they don't want to give her credit. But no, she gets full credit for that fight to me, right? I mean, that was probably her biggest win because she jumped so far ahead. Before that, she was fighting a bunch of unranked fighters, but still, like, Erin's been growing. Erin's probably one of the youngest and most dangerous fighters in WMMA right now. So Manon's got to watch out for this. She's got to make sure she's fully prepared. But this is what you do. You call out the best, test yourself, and this will tell us if Manon is ready for that fight against the Grasso-Shevchenko winner, the rematch, right? So, yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. I think this is probably the best fight they can make. I'm sorry, Tyler Santos. I mean, I wanted to see the Santos-Blanchfield fight, but it kind of died down since, Santos had to pull out of the fight, and we just haven't heard anything from her since. I might have to talk about this in the video. I'm like, where is she? Where is she after, like, this high momentum of having a close fight with Valentina back in June? I mean, we coming up on June in a few more weeks, and that means it's been a year since she's been in the octagon. So I'm kind of wondering, like, it seemed like she would have been fighting steady since then, but what's going on? What's really going on with Tyler Santos? So she's kind of out of the mix, and she's part of my quadruple threat, so I hate to see it. But right now, with the energy that Manon and Erin are bringing, that's the fight I'm going for because, Manon, she had called her out before, and she kind of criticized the win of Erin and said it was a, short notice fight, and that wasn't Jessica. But, Erin came back and said, hey, I'll take that fight, if it's a main event. So I'm sure she would be gladly, she'd be willing to go over to Paris and fight Manon. And when this thing happens, I'm going to be torn, man, because both of these fighters are my quadruple threat. So to me, whoever wins this one, it's like, yo, I'm all game for it because it's going to be a good fight. They're the best in the division right now. Let me know, guys, what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.